Welcome, everybody, to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. It is Wednesday, August the 23rd, and once again, I'm joined by the dynamic duo. By the way, my name's Ross Benjamin. I'm the host of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel, and I'm joined today by Mr. Jesse Schule of GamblersWorld.net and JesseSchule.com, and the irrepressible Mr. Sean Higgs from WinningFreePicks.com and GamblersWorld.net. Boys, we're discussing college football. And boy, SEC fans came out of the woodwork after yesterday's video. My goodness. Florida fans, SEC fans in general, it's God forbid that you make a pick against an SEC team from a team outside of the conference like Jesse did, or was it? No, Sean did yesterday. Boy, oh boy.
I don't think anybody did. In fact, I just mentioned that I lean towards Utah, and they came out of the woodwork after me like that. But I thought it was really special when they said you can't compare a Pac-12 team to an SEC team, and I pointed out, well, they did play about a year ago head-to-head. So is there a better measuring stick for having played each other head-to-head? I don't know about that.
I didn't have a side there. I was like, the quarterback. Yeah. I'm like, well, it's still a third-string quarterback possible. I don't care how many starts.
That's right. You had the total. Yeah,
I had the total.
Yeah.
I was just pointing out. I would say I'd rather have a 9 or 7.5 early with Florida than a 4 that it is now. I mean, a 4. I might like Utah at a 4, right? I mean, maybe it's an over-adjustment. It's week 1, or week 0, whatever it is. This is a tricky time. You can only go on what you read on all the blogs and your little magazines. You only got so much information. But we were talking off air before you got into the chat, Ross, me and Jesse. I said, the comments from the fans of the teams kind of help because they're dug into their team. They know more about Utah or Florida or UMass or whoever we're talking about. They're fans. They know their teams.
I know that one gentleman, Sean, brought to our attention yesterday, and I looked inside the numbers, and he was absolutely right. Anthony Richardson wasn't the problem for Florida last year. They averaged over 30 points a game. They also gave up around 30 points a game, too. So their defense was their biggest enigma last year. And when these two teams, Florida and Utah, met last year, they combined for over 900 yards of total offense, and the total yardage in that game was pretty much split down the middle. Here's the thing, though. You went 6-7 with Anthony Richardson. Wasn't his fault. Your defense wasn't that good. Then I look deeper into the Florida roster, and Graham Mertz is their starting quarterback. Graham Mertz, for the ex-Wisconsin quarterback. Good luck with that in the SEC. So, yeah, I mean, it tells me something when Utah is down to their third-string quarterback and the odds makers still have them as a 4.5-point favorite against a Florida team from the mighty SEC. And look, the SEC is the best conference in the world. I'm not disputing that. I don't think anybody that's on the show right now is disputing that. So lighten up, folks. We're just telling it like it is, and we appreciate your comments. I mean, that Florida comment, it was a very intelligent one. The gentleman disagreed, but he did it respectfully, and he was right. So keep those comments rolling in, folks. Whether you agree with us or not, go ahead. John.
More reason to like the under. You mentioned Mertz. They're going to be a run-heavy kind of team. Turn that clock, baby. Turn that clock. Let that clock run at the first down. Let's keep it going. Keep that total going under.
I agree that none of the comments were disrespectful, but I'm not sure they were all intelligent, in my opinion. And some of the guys that were really big on Florida makes me like Utah that much more. I got to say that.
Yeah, well, he made it a legitimate point. I was specifying one guy. There's some of these fans from the SEC, they're diehards, and God bless them, man. That's what college football is all about, right? Yes. We're not trying to knock your team. We're trying to pick a game against the spread or a total in a game that your team's involved in. It's not like we're trying to crucify your team. But I did make a comment yesterday that I thought from everything I read and everything I see on TV that the Minnesota coach, P.J. Fleck, was a lunatic. And somebody took offense to that, and I apologize for that. Maybe that was a bad description. If you know anything about me, I say what's on my mind, and I'm not going to change, folks. I'll say
and you
what's
don't
on
think
my
they're going to
mind.
be
Yeah, Ross,
upset
watch
about
out.
what you
Words-
said about
words hurt,
Graham
apparently.
Mertz?
What's that? What's that, buddy?
They're going to be upset
Jess?
about what you said about Graham Mertz, I think. You'll hear
Well,
about that tomorrow.
I tell you what, show me statistics to say this guy is nothing more than an average quarterback at best. He was at the Power 5 conference level, and he was a starting quarterback at Wisconsin in a run-oriented team. I mean, everybody knows that Wisconsin was running the ball 60, 70% of the time. And if they got behind in games, they very likely were going to lose because he wasn't going to bring it back against good schools anyway. So
You should change
that's
his name
my
to
opinion.
instead of Graham Mertz, it's Graham hurts your eyes because you can't throw the ball downfield. Is that what his new name
Yeah.
is? Graham hurts your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick on the kid too much, but I'm just making general observations here. If you couldn't win with Anthony Richardson, you better hope your defense is tremendous this year compared to what it was last year. And you better hope that your running game is top flight because, and they ran the ball terrifically against Utah last year for like 260 yards. But over 100 of those came from Anthony Richardson. So we'll see.
This is like four
anyway.
picks in today's show. This is like 4 picks.
I think the guys in the chat got to hope that all the experts are wrong about their team, all the national media, all the publications, all the AP rankings and coaches polls are wrong. I guess that's what I'm getting from them.
Yeah, and the gentleman with the situation with PJ Fleck, I admire you standing behind your coach. You said he was a great coach. He's a good coach. Okay. He did take Western Michigan to an undefeated season and with a New Year's Day bowl game, which they lost. But they were very competitive in doing so. He's done a great job at Minnesota, but they haven't won a Big Ten championship. They haven't been a top 10 team. So great coaches to me are coaches that win championships, coaches that win conference championships, coaches that contend for a conference championship on an annual basis, on a consistent basis. So he's a very good coach. But look, the headlines, you read stuff, what the players are saying about him, there's an issue there. Okay. That's all I'm pointing out. And I just don't like the way this guy sprints up and down the field. I mean, to me, I don't want to say anymore. Anyway, before I get myself in more trouble in any event. All right, we're talking college football today. I'm going to be looking at the Central Michigan and Michigan State game. Sean, Louisville and Georgia Tech. And Jesse's going to look at the Battle of Miami's, the Miami, Ohio team taking on the Miami of Florida Hurricanes. Jesse, these games all go on Friday, September 1st, by the way. Jesse, the Miami of Florida Hurricanes, they seem to be in the top 20 AP preseason poll every year. And very seldom do they end up in the preseason top 25. Now, I'm saying very seldom. I'm talking about recent, okay? I'm not talking about the glory days of past, which Miami had terrific football teams. They always seem to amass a lot of talent out of South Florida, have great recruiting classes, but it just doesn't equate on the field of wins and losses. Before we get going on to pick, just your general thought this year, and you might like Miami of Florida in this game, but by the same token, is this a legitimate top 25 team in your estimation?
Well, once again, Ross, I come into this show prepared with some notes, and often both you or Sean comment prior to my analysis, and it seems like you're reading right off the page, right? Basically, everything that you mentioned is what I got written down here. Miami, notoriously overrated. Every year, it's like the U is back, baby, but they haven't been back. They come into this game, they failed to cover in 9 of their last 10 games. So the question is, are they back this year? And the answer, I'm not sure. But Ross mentioned great coaches, win conference championships, win big games, win big bowl games. How about Mario Cristobal? 2020 September 2021 beats the Buckeyes in the horseshoe at Columbus. Does it get any better than that? Pac-12 championships with the Ducks. I think Cristobal's the real deal. Second year at the U, had time to change the culture there. I think the culture needed changing. I think he's a huge upgrade from Manny Diaz. I wasn't a big fan of the turnover chain and that kind of culture, maybe similar to what you think of PJ Fleck, Ross. I think Cristobal has the tools in place to get the job done. I think Miami is going to be overrated because of their lack of success in recent years. Any team that's failed to cover in 9 of their last 10, you can't tell me that's not going to influence the spread. And even when this Miami team has been bad, they've been able to blow out teams when they overmatch their opponent. Miami came into the last year with the number 16 ranked recruiting class compared to Miami, Ohio, the number 77 ranked recruiting class. So huge disparity in talent. Home opener, good spot for, I think, a Miami team that, for good reason, people are reluctant to be that high on them. Tyler Van Dyke back at quarterback. There's sort of high hopes for him. But mostly my money's on Miami minus the 17.5 because of Cristobal.
Which one? Miami's minus 17.5. Okay.
The U, the one behind Sean on his door.
I like Miami in that game too. So it's a safe bet. Anyway,
Miami's a lot.
No, Jesse likes Miami of Florida minus 17.5 or Miami, Ohio. You know, Jesse, the one thing before I get to Sean, the one thing that jumped out at me here was a total of 46, which is extremely low, especially when you have a caliber quarterback like Miami has. So I don't, any thoughts in that regard? Did it influence you making that point spread pick? Because basically with a total like 46, if you like the favorite, you're pretty much saying that Miami, Ohio is lucky if they're going to score 14 points in this game.
Yeah. To me, the total looks about right on,
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
All right. I felt strongly about the side.
I stumped Jesse with that question, which is hard to do. And I know the one guy's never stumped. And if he is stumped, he reaches into his bag of tricks and comes up with something. Anyway, Sean, your thoughts on that particular matchup?
Yeah, I'm a Miami guy, obviously. Old school Miami. 80s, 90s, my wheelhouse, Miami. Am I happy with Cristobal? Yeah. Can we get some wins? We need wins. Definitely overrated. It's a program that's always kind of juiced up. New offensive coordinator from Houston who put up like 39 points a game, so that'll help the offense. Defense guy comes over from Marshall, had a really good defense last year. They got 10 starters back on defense. This alluding to your underplay. So Miami should have improved defense there. Mac Miami has 9 guys back. They're solid defense. They like to run the ball. Quarterbacks, they got a bunch of experienced quarterbacks. Guys are always hurt, apparently, in the Mac quarterback wise. I lean under here, although I don't know if I want like 17.5 with the U. I don't know about that. I'm a Miami guy, but I'm hopeful. I'm wishful thinking here on the Hurricanes having a nice season that we're back. Although I enjoyed the turnover chain because that's all like today's Twitter nonsense. Like the kids need to have some kind of TikTok nonsense. So it is what it is. Old guys like us, it is, we're not used to that kind of stuff. We're like, act like you've been there. Let's go. You should be getting turnovers. But
I think that college football would be a lot better if Miami or Florida was relevant. I really do. And I'm not saying they're not relevant, but back to the glory days. There was something about that magic there when they played in the Orange Bowl and the crowds were raucous and they dominated. And
the best school in Florida, Central Florida. UCF is the best college football team in Florida.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, you can make in the best program in Florida right now. Yeah. And I know here comes.
I don't care. I'm a Miami guy. UCF, listen, are they going to get 10 in the Big 12 or whatever? Probably not. They need a little more depth, recruiting wise to get in there, but they do have talent. And
yeah, no doubt about it. But we'll see. Mario Cristobal, former Miami alum, if I'm not mistaken, Sean.
Yeah, he played for Jimmy Johnson, championship winner.
And one of the things that Mario Cristobal is very notorious for, he's a terrific recruiter. So he's in the hotbed in South Florida. He's an alum. And I think in due time, I don't know if it'll be this year, but in due time that his recruiting ability and capturing the best players in Florida are going to come to fruition. And we're going to see Miami as a heavyweight in the ACC, at the very least. And maybe getting back into the national picture. He did so with Oregon. Look, the guy won at FIU. Okay, so that's not the easiest program to win at. Anyway, let's get to the next game, and that will be Sean's game, the Louisville Cardinals and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. That game's being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Ordinarily, I would say, you know what, it's a Georgia Tech home game, but when you play it at a site like that, and Louisville travels real well in terms of their fan base. Right now, Louisville is an 8-point favorite. The total's 49.5. Sean, what do you got for us?
I got to say real fast to jump back into what we're talking about to start the show. We're talking Florida and Utah. We have like 40-something comments on that video, by the way. That was a huge, that broad. Because I was just flipping through them.
The SEC.
That's what I was looking down. I was like,
SEC and go against them.
Because Jesse had brought up things. I'm like, let me fly through this. I'm like, oh my goodness, there is a ton of.
Yeah.
I got to check these every day now. I got to put notifications on for this channel. Holy cow. All right, let's talk about this game. Maybe we get the Louisville fans riled up here because I'm going to take the dog here with Tech at 8. So we have basically the Purdue front office coming over to run the show here, right? Brom, ex-Louisville quarterback. He's coming back home here, taking over the program, brings his brother with him. So it's all Purdue cats, and you got a ex-Purdue quarterback who was at, I think, Cal for a year. So, it's not a brand new kind of regime where you have a quarterback jumping into a new scheme, but it's still a team, 8-point fave on the road for opening day on a neutral field. This is a neutral. And yeah, it's still in Georgia, but Tech's got a little work to do. They hired their coach. He was interim last year. He went 4-4 to end the year. Won at Pitt, won at Virginia Tech, beat North Carolina and Duke. Okay, nice wins. But were they more? Nobody thought Georgia Tech was good and kind of overlooked them, and they stole some wins. Either way, it's good little momentum here. The team has talent-wise, I don't think they're on the same level as Louisville, but at 8 on basically a neutral, I got to take the 8 points here. And again, listen, folks, week 1, and I like a lot of games in week 1. I said this yesterday. But until you see these kind of teams play, Louisville's favorite to win 8.5. That's their win total this year. And you have 4 for Georgia Tech. Maybe I'm totally wrong here at 8. It should be an 18. But I'm going to take the home team here. They're not the rambling wreck triple option Georgia Tech team. They actually kind of, I don't want to say pro form it out, but they throw the ball. It's not the Service Academy style offense. So I'm going to take the little homers here. Plus 8. That's it. I got not much to say here. Give me the 8. Yeah. I know Louisville's looking to get back on track. The defense needs a little work. The quarterback, again, experience in the system, but first-year head coach, a lot of new players.
Yeah.
Big turnover.
And Brom is a heck of a head coach. He did a great job over at Purdue.
And they were in a championship game, last year? 2 years ago? Exactly. Last year they were in the Big Ten championship game. Who saw that?
Yeah. So it tells you something when you leave the Big Ten to go to the ACC. And again, it's his alma mater. And I think that alone is going to make it easy for him to recruit in that area or nationally. So Georgia Tech plus
he's safe about getting canned out there. He doesn't have to worry about a bad year. I mean, you leave the Big Ten to come to ACC, they're not going to fire you after 2 or 3 years having a bad run. They're definitely going to let him spread his wings and try to get his guys in there and see how they do.
All right, before we get to Jesse's opinion on the game, real quickly, folks, we are powered by gamblersworld.com and gamblersworld.net. Our .com site is our video section. Our .net is where you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers anywhere in the country today. And right now, we got a special going on, $100 off all subscription plans. Don't forget, folks, college football, the NFL, and a combination package of college football, NFL, whatever you choose, you're going to get $100 off, and that price is going to go up $100 as of 8/31. So you want to get in while you can. We mentioned, you got a guy like Sean Higgs here who went 64% in the NFL last year as a volume handicapper with over 200 plays. You got Jesse Schule. And Jesse, before you get to your opinion on this, before we lose our train of thought, I know that you wanted to correct something you said yesterday in terms of your record.
Yeah, yesterday I said that I started the NFL regular season 18-2, as well as the college football season 18-2, and that was incorrect. The reason I made the mistake is because I did start NFL 18-2 if you include the preseason in with the NFL regular season, which of course you wouldn't want to do that, and I wasn't intending to do that. So the actual record for a combined NFL and college was 30-5. That's 86%, rather than the 90% that I said it was yesterday. And my apologies for that. There was a reason why I made that mistake, and 86% is probably still good enough for most people out there. So
Yeah,
hopefully it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the folks out there will forgive you from going, saying you are 90% instead of 86. Anyway, Jesse, your thoughts on Sean's game, Georgia Tech, Louisville?
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that I'm not going to be all that excited about betting on, but put a gun to my head, I'm going to have to take the 8 points. Like you guys said, a believer in Braum. A lot of uncertainties, and in a case where there's a lot of uncertainties, you got to lean towards taking the points.
Yeah.
There you go. So Sean likes Georgia Tech plus the 8 against Louisville. Jesse says lay the 17.5 with Miami of Florida over Miami of Ohio. One other thing about gamblersworld.net, folks, not only will you find us 7 other great handicappers as well, you get our personal guarantee that if you don't win, you don't make a profit, we will credit back your account the exact amount of your purchase price. And that's for all subscription plans, 30 days or less, and also on single game and multi-game daily packages, according to our grading system. And we grade our plays 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 units. If you don't make a profit according to what we grade our plays at, again, you'll be credited back the exact amount of your purchase price. And just keep in mind, folks, the handicappers, all of us, are limited to just 6 5-unit plays per month and 2 10-unit plays per month. So it's not like we could load up heavy on these 5 and 10-unit plays. When we make those plays, we're being very particular in doing so. So usually games of the week, games of the month, conference game of the month. So keep an eye on that as well. Okay, my game is Central Michigan and Michigan State. I tell you, boys, I'm going to lean on you guys for more input here because this was a tough one for me. I looked at this line initially and I said, Michigan State, a Big Ten team, only laying 14.5 in their season opener, home opener against a team from the MAC. I almost wanted to just take Central Michigan just because it looked like a fishy line to me. But there's a lot of uncertainty from both teams here. I mean, you're looking at a Central Michigan team that came off a 4-8 campaign last year under Jim McElwain, who, by the way, former Florida coach. He'll be entering his 5th season at Central Michigan, and that looked like a tremendous hire there, but he's just 24-21 straight up in his first 4 years. He did have a very good campaign 2 years ago when the Chippewas went 9-4. However, it's been pretty mediocre to below average in his other campaigns. Central Michigan, since 2018, they've played 8 non-conference away games. They're 0-8 straight up in those games. They lose by 18.1 points per game. Michigan State, they lost 15 players in a transfer portal, including quarterback Peyton Thorne, who went to Auburn, and their top wide receiver, Keon Coleman, who transferred to Florida State. However, they're just 2 years removed from an 11-2 campaign under Mel Tucker. After that year, I'm not so sure that Michigan State, we had a knee-jerk reaction there with Mel Tucker because they signed him for 10 years, multi-million-dollar contract. And I'm just wondering if the powers to be after their campaign last year is wondering whether that was a smart move to do so at that particular time. But, he'll have an opportunity to bounce back. And if he has a winning year this year in the Big Ten, God bless him, because he's got his work cut out for him. Since 2021, though, Michigan State Non-conference home games, all under Mel Tucker, 4-0 straight up in ATS. The average line in those games, minus 19.5. They win by 27.5 points per game on average. And then I also have a college football betting angle on this game. Any non-conference home favorite of 14.5 to 27 points, like Michigan State is currently, and they're playing in their season opener. They won 5 or less games this season.
Is Ross frozen?
He is. It's a good thing we're recording.
It happens. That's all right. I mean, listen,
Cut it
happens. It happens. We'll go on with that. I don't know. Listen, I'm no Mel Tucker fan. I'll tell you that. And I like both of these teams to go under. McElwain's got his work cut out. I think the schedule calls for like maybe 6 or 7 bowl teams for these guys. And I don't like laying 14.5, but I kind of tend to agree with Ross. I think he was saying he was going to lay to 14.5. I'd lay to 14.5 as well, I think. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I saw one article that the Central Michigan quarterback, if it's the same kid, he's thrown 8 passes in 4 games. So there's that. I don't know. They got 9 guys back on defense. Maybe leaning under here. This is kind of like the Miami game, right? You got a total under 50, and it's a big double-digit spread. So, again, I got
could
nothing on
have
this
some
game,
weather
but I'd go
issues
under.
in East Lansing first
All right,
week.
I'm sorry. We had a bad connection there. But I'm going to go. I am taking Michigan State minus 14.5 over Central Michigan, guys. And like I told the viewers, this is not a game I absolutely love. There's not a strong database formula here other than the 25-10 angle that I mentioned that favors Michigan State in season openers. Again, there's a lot of uncertainty on both sides here. Your take, guys. It's starting with Jesse.
Yeah, Sean and I were talking when you were off air there, Ross, about the total, and I think both of us were sort of in agreement that we maybe look at an under here with so much player turnover on both sides, and the Central Michigan, quarterback. Sean said he's only attempted 4 passes in his career prior to this. So
8 passes in 4 games. I read
8 passes in 4 games. Yeah. So
I'm sure the Chippewa alum will be in here. The Chippewa fan base will be in here if I'm wrong, but if that's the case, I mean, it's got to be a kind of a limited offense, right? I mean, they can't just air this guy out in week 1.
And a lot of new faces for the Spartans. They're going to need to work things out as well. So I'd lean under.
Well, how much of my analysis got cut off, guys? So I could fill the folks in just a little bit.
We did hear about the 15 players transferring out of Michigan State.
Yeah, the quarterback going to Auburn, Peyton Thorne, their top wide receiver transferring to Florida State. So we got the gist of that. I apologize, folks. Some things are out of our control. I think I had a little glitch with my internet there for a second. It knocked me off. And then when I came back, I didn't see Sean either. So goes technology, folks. Anyway, Jesse, tell the folks a little bit about what you got coming up this week and what you might want to promote in terms of hot streaks. And I know you have some of late.
Yeah, no, I won again yesterday. So August is going pretty well. I did say yesterday when we were doing the show that I felt bad about myself, that I was going to put a pot of coffee on and put out a bunch of football plays. Didn't actually get around to that, so still got to do that. I do have AFC North Game of the Year up for Week 1 NFL, and I do have one play up for Week 0. I got to stock the shelves with more before Saturday for sure. And, I go into the final week of the preseason 10-1 with my last 11 preseason. That is confirmed. That is a legitimate streak. And 30-5 with NFL and college combined last September. So great time to get an all-access football package at gamblersworld.net or jesseschule.com.
There you go. Jesse Schule, one of the finest handicappers you'll find anywhere in the country. We lost Sean temporarily. Really sorry about the technical difficulties today, folks, but we'll get through it.
And you're the only one that lost Sean, Ross.
I'm right here, Ross.
What's that? There.
I've been here the whole time.
He is.
You got my photo on there?
I'm telling you, man. Today's been a challenge. The SEC fans are going to go, you're talking about our offense? Get your act together, boys.
You can't even see the guy
Sean,
who's below you on the
tell
video.
folks
What are
a
you
little
talking
bit about
about?
what your recent hot streaks are and what you got coming up, and we lost them again. So let me tell you what I got going on.
All right.
I'm coming off a 5-0 day yesterday. 5 Major League Baseball winners, including my 5-unit MLB underdog game of the month on the Cincinnati Reds, plus 132. I'm on a tremendous roll right now. Major League Baseball 24-10 run over at gamblersworld.net. Since August the 4th, and also on a 29-12 all sports run since August the 4th at gamblersworld.net. So you can find me there, folks. In my college football, I finished 18-7 last year, 72% run. And so find me at gamblersworld.net. You can find me at rbwins.com, gamblersworld.net. They're our sponsor. Find me there, okay? Sean, hopefully we can keep you long enough for you to do your promo. So go ahead, my man.
I have not left the chat, Ross, at all.
He hasn't gone anywhere.
I've been here the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know why we keep losing the picture, but anyway.
Yes, Gamblers World. Go check it out. I have 15 college football. I'm going to add a package. I know we're not going to scare Jim. There won't be 18 individual picks. There'll be a bunch of 3-packs up for you. Again, I've NFL X right now. I don't really love final week of NFL. I've been gearing up for college football in week 1 NFL and grinding out baseball. So all the picks are on Gamblers World. Check me out there.
All right. So thank you for your patience and cooperation, folks. Again, we'd like to thank each one of you out there. We surpassed the 10,000 subscriber mark this week, actually yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever. We passed it. And we owe a lot to you, folks, because without your support and comments, whether you agree with us or disagree with us, it's what makes this show go. And it's we're very grateful for all of you. And if you have not subscribed, you'll see a WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner, your video box. If you're watching on a PC, you'll see a subscribe button on below your video box. If you're watching on your mobile device, just click either one of those. That'll get you subscribed. It costs you absolutely nothing, folks. There's no strings attached. There's no tricky stuff going on. But when you're in your YouTube settings, we would highly recommend that you hit the alert and notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. And you'll be alerted immediately upon any of our podcasts going up on our channel. Speaking of which, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with Doug Upstone talking college football. These two gents will be with me on Friday. We'll be talking college football once again. Until the next time, for Ross Benjamin, Jesse Schule. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Come on, Ross.
We got to remind everybody out there, and even the SEC fans, don't forget to smash that like button.
His wife is going to divorce him over this. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. The kids are up. And like I said yesterday, all the wildlife in the jungles of Thailand are looking for a like button to smash because the mighty Jesse.
It's okay, Ross. I got a big house for the grand piano.
All right. So again, folks, hit that like button. I'm not going to say it as emphatically. And it's just a small token of your appreciation for the work we do on this channel and the preparation we put in to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. Let me try this again. For Ross Benjamin, Jesse Schule, and Sean Higgs, take care and God bless, folks.